Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone had a great week. We certainly are finishing up a great week in Yeshiva. Mishanichnas Adar Marben Besimcha. On Monday, obviously 2 days of Rosh Chodesh. On Monday, we had a very special tefillah here. The whole yeshiva got together. When I say the whole yeshiva, I mean the Israeli high school. I mean the Meretz Kollel. I mean Yeshivat Shar Mevaseret Sion. We all had a davening together in the high school base medrash. It was exceptionally levidik, a beautiful way to start Adar. We had, of course, our annual Adar auction led by Rav Tzvi. On Wednesday, yesterday, we had our annual Gedolim trip, and it was a knockout Gedolim trip. What a lineup we had. We started off here in Yeshiva with Rav Sinai Adler, who was the Rav of Ashdod, the Rav Harashi of Ashdod, settled to retire here in Mevaseret. He told us stories of his time in Auschwitz and whatever learning he was able to do in Auschwitz. Very, very inspiring. Then we moved to Yerushalayim. Rav Benayahu Shmueli, who's a big Sephardi Kabbalist, gave us a lot of chizuk. Then we went from there, a new one to the list of Rav Gamliel Rabinovich, a Ashkenazi Makubal, phenomenal. What energy. It was unbelievable to be there, just to see we were in his house, and to see the house full of Sfarim, what was going on. And Rav Gamliel is a tremendous, energetic personality. Every guy took Kabbalahs, he read the Kabbalahs, gave brachos, it was great. Then we went to my Rebbe, Rav Asher Weiss, which is always amazing. After that, we went to Rav Yaakov Hillel, a great Makubal who spoke to us. Then we went to the bells, the giant bells, Beis HaKnesses, Beis HaMikdash, you might call the Mikdash Ma'at, which cost close to $100 million to build. And there, just by accident, total Siyad Dishmaya, Rav Grossman, the Rav of Migdal HaEmek, a very well-known personality, the so-called disco rabbi, he was there. And then and he spoke to us as well. And then we closed our day with the Rav Harashi, the Ashkenazic Rav Harashi, Rav Lau, in his offices in Yerushalayim, which again, a full day was really incredible. So we find ourselves a week before Purim. We find ourselves in Parshat Teruma. And there's a very famous and important dichotomy that we find when we think about Purim, and we think about a very famous Gemara. The Gemara is found in Shabbos Daf Peches, and the Gemara says when we were Mekabel the Torah, Kofa Aleim Har Kegigis, Hashem took the mountain of Har Sinai, turned it upside down, and compelled us, forced us to be Mekabel the Torah. Kofa Aleim Har Kegigis, and if we did not accept the Torah, says the Gemara, Hashem told us, Sham Tehei Kfuraschem. That's where you're going to be buried. Game over. Yet later on we're told that Klal Yisrael, Parshas Kisisa, Na'aseh v'nishma. They said, whatever it says, we'll do. We're in. And of course, in Purim time, Kimu v'kiblu haYehudim, the Gemara explains, Kimu mashe kiblu kvar, and it was a re-acceptance of Torah's Hashem, of Hashem's Torah, a re-acceptance, and this time it wasn't under duress, but it was willfully, Na'aseh v'nishma, it was Kimu v'kiblu haYehudim, they opted in, so to speak. And the Maharal is bothered. Why this dichotomy? On the one hand, it is Kafa Aleim Har Kegigis, under compulsion. On the other hand, there's this idea of Na'aseh v'nishma, of Kimu v'kiblu haYehudim. This dichotomy, this yin-yang, is echoed as well in the beginning of our Parshat Teruma. Because the Torah says, Daber, Hashem tells Moshe, Daber b'nei Yisrael v'ikhu li truma, me'ez kol isha asher yidvenu libo, tikhu es trumasi v'zos ha-truma asher tikhu mi'itam. Torah writes the word truma 3 times. And from those 3 utterances of the word truma, the Gemara Maseches Megillah Chavtes, quoted by Rashi on the spot, says there were 3 separate and distinct collections. There was a collection of a machatzis hashekel for the adanim, for the sockets that were the foundation of the Mishkan that held the krushim. There was a collection of a machatzis hashekel for the daily karbanos, for the karbanos tzibur. And those 2 first collections, for the adanim and for the karban tzibur, those were absolutely chova. They were mandatory. Every single Jew had to give, who was the right age, Bekha Legulgoles. Every skull, every person had to make his contribution. And then the Torah says there was a 3rd contribution. This one was Kol Ish Asher Yidvenu Libo. Whatever he chose to donate. It was a nedava. It It was of his own generosity. Echad hamarbe ve'echad hamamit. 100% optional. He had 2 chova and 1 optional. And as we mentioned, you find this echoed when it comes to Kabbalah Satorah itself. On the one hand, we were compelled. On the other hand, we opted in. And this dichotomy is a very, very significant one. Because we all know, in our Avodas Hashem, there's certain things we have to do. And we do them ultimately because they are the Gzeras HaMelech. We have to do it. But we also know that when we are compelled to do something, when we have to do it, so sometimes we don't bring our energy. We do it to be Yotzei Zayin, because I have to do it, so it's part of my checklist. It's something that I have to do. And perhaps, here in Parshat Teruma, the Torah is telling us something very significant. Sure, you have to bring your Machatzis HaShekel for the Adanim and for the Karbanos Tzibur. But we want more than that. We don't want you to do things just because you have to. We want you to do things with an outflow of generosity, of love, of caring, of interest, of nidivut, of volunteerism. Because we all know that once you become invested in something, not because you must, but because you want, because you have an outflowing of being into it, of being excited, so all of a sudden it changes everything. It changes everything. But you'll ask me the question, then why is it insufficient to make everything optional? Make it optional, and if it's optional, if it's just make it nidivut. If I'm into it, I'm choosing to do it, so is it not going to be so much more meaningful, so much more profound? And there is a good argument to that effect. Well, the answer to that, I think, is also very obvious. If it's pure optionality, I can opt in, I can opt out. So as long as life is good, as long as I have time, I have energy, I have motivation, so I'm going to have this outpouring. But the second that I have a challenge in my life, time starts to be less available. Perhaps I'm less energetic, perhaps I'm less motivated. So then all of a sudden, everything disappears. Once the winds of challenge start to blow, everything starts to go away. And that is this unique yin-yang. On the one hand, it has to start. And indeed, the foundation of the Mishkan was the Adanim. And the foundation of the daily avoda, the Karbanos Tzibur, those are chova. Because in terms of your foundation has to be built on a sense of commitment, on a sense of this is what I have to do, no matter what. My foundation, to be deep and to be strong, it has to be there. It's not optional. It has to be there. Similarly, it has to be there every single day. Your Karbanos Tzibur, your Karban Tamid, every single day, Shachris and Bein HaArbayim, every single day. It's not optional. We bookend our days with a chova of Kabbalah Sol Malchus Shamayim, of Kriyat Shema. Bookending our days is a chova that we go ahead and say in the beginning and at the end. This is one chiyuv, and everything in the middle therefore gets informed by that sense of chova, how I start and end my day, with davening, with Kriyat Shema, with Kabbalah Sol Malchus Shamayim. But that's the foundation, that's the baseline, that's the bedrock of our daily avoda. But then you want a fancy mishkan. You want a beautiful mishkan. A mishkan that is adorned in the greatest of drapes, the greatest of tcheles, argama, and beauty. You want splendor, you want majesty, you want the gold. So that requires nidivut. That requires bringing your passions, bringing your energy. That requires the volunteerism. It's the same exact thing when it comes to Kabbalah Satorah. Kabbalah Satorah starts with a commitment. I am in. And then, once you're in, once you're committed, once the wedding ring has been delivered, now you go ahead and you bring it your all. Now you bring your Nasa v'Nishma. Now you bring your Kimu v'Kiblu HaYehudim to make it so much greater. That's the Yesod. It's a fundamental Yesod. We see this, for example, we live in a very, very modern Western world. In that world, the buzzwords are personal choice, our freedom, our Live and let live. Do what you want. Enjoy. Individuality and choice. Those are the buzzwords. That's what this world is all about. Anything goes, whatever feels good. Think about marriage. So why get married? I can accomplish the same exact things without marriage. I can go ahead and live together with my spouse, share a life together, share our financial life, our intimate life, have a shared life, even bring children to the world in such a context. Yet every single culture in the world lends great significance to the formal commitment of marriage. Whether it's legal commitment, whether it's religious commitment, there is something different, fundamentally different, about a marriage that is bonded by commitment versus a choice of, let's live together, let's share that life. And the difference is that when you're living in, I'll just borrow the nusach that I remember from the movies, you say something like, in sickness and in health, in good times and in bad, till death do us part. That nusach, we have a different nusach, but it's the same concept, the same idea, is you're establishing there are going to be bad times. The winds of challenge and struggle are going to blow. But nevertheless, I'm committed to you, you're committed to me. We're going to get through this. We're going to work through this. We're going to make it happen. If it's a relationship that lacks that formality of commitment, whether it's legal, whether it's religious, so then once those challenges hit, I'm out. Goodbye. And of course, you want a great marriage. It's not just legalities or religious commitment. Then you bring everything to the table. And that's how you're going to have a great marriage. But the foundation is that sense of commitment. And that's the message, I believe, of this Parshat Teruma. These three Trumot in the Binyan HaMishkan. On the one hand, foundation, both physically, structurally, and the daily avoda that's premised on chova. But then we go ahead and elevate and uplift. You want grandeur. You want majesty. You want something dramatic, so then you have to bring all your gold. You have to bring all your tcheles. You have to bring all your argaman. You want a tremendous connection to Ribono Shalom. If it's just, I'm doing it because I have to, something missing. I'm doing it because I'm energized. I'm passionate. I want to. But that too, of course, is not enough. The baseline is that sense of chiyuv, that sense of commitment, and then you bring your energy. It's a fundamental lesson in this parsha and of Kabbalas HaTorah. And it's a way to live life in general, is that we're not always feeling it. It's 100% true. We're not always feeling it. And then we need to rely on that, if you will, that deposits in the bank account of, yes, nevertheless, it's a chova and I'm there. But whenever I can to bring my energy, to feel it, to get into it, makes it all that much more powerful, all that much more meaningful. And then the structure, the religious structure of your religious personality, which is built on chova, but then climbs higher and higher and higher based on that sense of nidivut, is endless. And I give everyone the bracha that they should really take that yesod, build that foundation, and then build higher and higher and higher. Have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.